Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to a high-level professional best of 3 StarCraft crew. In the bottom right we have the player formerly known as Ratata, formerly known as Vanya, now known as Wayne as our red Zerg. And in the top left we have Clem, playing for Team Liquid as the blue Terran player. Now, these guys have a bit of history, as Wayne usually gives Clem a much harder time than Zerg players of a higher level caliber do. So I'm not sure if there's some type of mental block that Clem is working with, or Wayne just has, you know, the key to victory against Clem. He knows how to annoy him, he knows how to win. I don't quite know what it is. All I know is that Wayne's win rate against Clem is much higher than it should be based on their respective skill levels or MMRs or a League rating or whatever rating you use. Whatever metric you want to talk about. I feel like in most of them, Clem is going to be significantly better. He opens up with double Rex Reaper here. It's an unfortunate position to start with double Rex Reaper, as the tech lab as well as reactor will start on the outside. So we have the first Reaper out, second and third on the way, of course. Gonna have to wait and see how Wayne is going to respond to this. Now, the thing with Wayne is that he's a different type of player, where I think a lot of Zerg players nowadays, they look for defensive wins. They're like, oh, how can I be more greedy while still defending? Or how can I get more money? How can I get more units at this point without being more vulnerable in the early game? Wayne often asked himself, how can I win the game in as little time as possible? And that is a very good question. It does mean, however, that if the Terran is on point, he can look a little bit silly at times. But you make one mistake, Wayne freaking pounces. And when he pounces hard, and you're not coming back. He knocks you down, you're staying down. That is an absolute fact. That's Link's here stopping these Reapers from jumping up. Just following these Reapers for now. So, Reaper's not really getting anything done. Have they killed anything at all? No. They haven't. Triple CC follow-up with a factory. So it's going to be 2-1-1 with Marines. What is Wayne doing? Okay, he's rushing into a lair. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It's not the quickest lair possible, but still pretty darn fast. And this could be two things, depending on whether speed starts or not. If speed starts, it's going to be Muta. If speed doesn't start and he throws down a roach warren, it's probably going to be roaches. You have seen some of these roach builds in the past, but it's going to be speed. We see 2 extra gases coming down, and the third gas will follow shortly, going up to a total of 4 gases in that case, of course. 2 cyclones popping out here for Clem. So that's some defensive units here being built. So quite seriously getting a couple of these defensive units. That's interesting. I wonder if he's going to build any more Hellions as well with this, or if this is just going to be a double cyclone. Okay, it's getting some Hellions as well. So it's investing heavily into this, delaying his own starport, and thus delaying his first push out. All of these things, they're always connected. Spire is on the way already here. Spire starts the same time as the starport starts for Clem. That is uncommon. That is very uncommon, actually. That's not what we're used to seeing at all. 3 Reapers, 2 Cyclones. Now Overlord here is being taken out. We have a Transfuse available. Soon a second one could be used right now to keep this Overlord alive, but instead we get a retarget on the Cyclones here on that Queen, and I'm kind of glad that he didn't end up using that Transfuse, as now defensively he can keep his Queens alive just a little bit longer. And that's important, because this is a scary push out here. 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions and 2 Cyclones. That is not a joking force, okay? That is a serious amount of units here that you need to deal with. And I wonder how Wayne is planning on dealing with it. His control of these Queens is phenomenal. He's gonna lose one of them here. At the same time, we have a bit of a surround. Can he pick up any of the Cyclones? Yes, he's gonna get one. And he's gonna commit to that. That might be a mistake. No, Wayne doesn't make mistakes. Gets the second Cyclone as well. And keeps, I think, 4 out of the 8 links that went for that assassination attempt there. Keeps them alive. Spire is about to finish up. The first 2 medevacs are now popping out. This honestly is very scary. This is a very, very tight game here, in which if one player makes a mistake, it could be over for that player. Because there's no units out whatsoever for Wayne, and there's almost no units for Clem. And more importantly, he has very poor reproduction abilities. He only has 2 barracks active right now. He's going to need a reactor on this barracks before he can start producing. So if Clem loses this Marine push, he's in trouble. However, Wayne has no units. He has 6 links with 12 more on the way. There are 6 mutas out with 3 more on the way. And he has 4 queens total, 3 of which are extremely low in HP. Double stim here coming out of Clem. That is a bit of a mistake. Means that these units are much lower than they should be. I think Clem realizes and he's wanting to go back home right now. He's running. Wayne has different plans though. He's moving across the map with all of his links as well. These medevacs are boosting back home. We'll need to drop their marines right now as the mutas start connecting. Tank doesn't siege up quite in time. Hellions dealing a lot of damage though. As actually Wayne is pushing through here, surprisingly so. Tank is going to get taken out. There's no splash available. Marine count quickly dipping as well. Combat shield now being attacked. We get the Overlord. I don't even know what his ability is called. That's how little we see it. He's pooping on this thing, stopping the production of combat shield. Combat shield's gonna burn down. That means that these Marines will not get their 10 HP bonus. And I think this might just be it. More and more units streaming across the map over here. A couple more mutas, a bunch more links as well. And what is the Marine count? It's 2 against 10 mutas. And these Marines don't even have combat shields. The production, as mentioned before, is hot garbage. GG gets called. And Wayne wins game number 1. And in game 2, we see Clem return to his more standard openers. Although last game was a fairly standard opener. Double Rex Reaper isn't something crazy anymore these days. You know, it's made its way into the mainstream. You know, maybe a couple of years ago, I saw 2 Rex Reaper. Like, oh, that's weird. Nowadays, it's like, oh, we're familiar with that strat. You know, we've seen it. It's evolved for sure. This time it's just going to be, I think, a standard. No, it's not triple CC. Wow. Double gas opener for Clem. Huh. I wonder why that is. It's good micro, by the way, huh? This is real nice. Damage is 3 for links. Kills 1. He is... when it comes to control, this guy is sick. Puff! He just doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss. Always hits. Quick starport is what I'm expecting here out of Clement. Ooh, that's a proxy starport. Oh, that requires some balls though. Being down 1-0 against a player you're generally considered better than, and you're going for this this build that carries significant risk. If this gets spotted, all of a sudden all of your aggression is out. All you have is a couple of cars, and Wayne knows how to deal with a couple of cars. Yeah, we've seen that. I wonder what this is going to be in general. This looks like a Liberator to me. So like oh. Hellion into Cyclone into Lib, I guess, is what I'm kind of smelling here. Yeah, it's kind of late though. Starport was done for quite a while. All right, Roach Warren on the way. Second gas as well. Do we have link speed? Yeah, we have link speed. So it's most likely not going to be a defensive Roach Warren. It might end up being a defensive Roach Warren as he'll use the Roaches defensively, but I think the intention here is aggression. The intention is most likely aggression. He's gonna definitely go for that. Good old Wayne. Good old Wayne, isn't it? What a guy. What a guy. Alright, let's see how he's going to make this happen. What do you have for us, little buddy? What do you have for us? Two more Overlords on the way. 43 workers. Quick lair. I think he decided against the Roaches. I think this is not what he wanted to play, but this is what he will end up playing. As we see this Liberator moving in position. Quick response here out of Wayne. Is he building spores in different bases? No, just in one of these. Queen is taking care of this. Is there enough units to deal with the Hellion Cyclone at the same time? There isn't really, is there? We'll get pushed away due to the ramp though. Cyclones are going to try once more. This queen is still being actively managed by Wayne. Oh, I don't think that's going to be in time. Yeah, it's going to hit there on edge. Going to be hit there. It's just barely on the edge of its range. Spore not moving. Wayne struggling here, not mining a whole lot from his natural. As his lair's about to finish up. Now we have this bad boy moving in for it. We'll get 1 or 2 shots off. 1 shot. There's no queen in the main. There's no queen in the natural. We have a fairly damaged queen. 2 fairly damaged queens. This Liberator is just going to AFK for now in the dead space. The reason why he sieges it up in a siege zone anyway is that in case you're using the F2 or the all army hotkey, you're not moving this unit because it's in siege mode. So it's a nice little trick, making life just a bit easier for the Terran players. As if life wasn't easy enough for Terran players, but that's a story for another time. It's going to be a tank transition coming out of Clem, as he has scouted the roaches. I think this makes a whole lot of sense. I really do believe it does make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, this spore is not in range, mate. Yeah, that's fairly far away. It's not even close. Ooh, it's roach into spire. So after that first game, Wayne believes that the key is with the Mutalisk. I kind of dig that, because I also believe there's some power in the Mura. Mura's one of these units that we don't see enough for how strong it is. That is my theory. I'm not sure if it's true. Whenever I talk with Zerg players, they always give me like a list of issues with the Mura. It's like, oh, it's bad versus X and bad versus Y. But then whenever it's being played, it does so freaking well. It's like, yeah, it might have a lot of issues, but it also gives a lot of issues to the opponent. Wait, how did this guy get attacked? Oh, it unseats. I saw it blinking red on my mini map. Here comes a flank with the Roach Ravager. Is there anything here at the front? Links are coming in. Surround commences. And honestly, sick unit movement here coming out of Wayne, who's going to clear Clem's, well, all of his units really. And now we're in such a similar situation to last game, just of slightly more eco. There's going to be a 2 medevac drop. We have 7 Miras on the way. I mean, if this is getting stopped, in similar vein as in the first game, we could just have a complete repeat of moves here, in which Clem is gonna get pushed back. He doesn't have combat shield yet. This base is so important. Wayne a little bit slow here with the response. Might just end up losing it, but here come the Mutas. No cancel, by the way, on that base. That's going to put more pressure on Wayne here to deal some serious damage. We do get a drop on the other side of the rocks. The boost is empty. It's not going to be available for a couple more seconds. Now it's back in here. Tank sieges up. Oh, Mutas dealing a lot of damage as the tank falls. Medevac gets taken out by a bile there as well. 2-3 Ravagers might end up falling as 1-1 finishes up. This went much better here for Wayne than it did in, or much better for Clem than it did in the last game. We do have 1-1 upgrades on the way, but the worker count is low. The fort base is going to be late. The creep spread sucks balls. So this is not a great situation right now for Wayne. It is really not. As 3 more barracks get plopped down over here, Clem believes that he can kill his opponent. This is an Adrax, a classic Adrax. Great strategy, especially against the small creep count, which is really the case right now. Up, SCV gets targeted, second SCV gets targeted down as well. Can we do that another time as these barracks are being spotted practically instantly. There's nothing to defend all these SCVs. 5-6 SCVs going down, as well as a Marine. 1 Muta will fall against the 8 Marines that came back home to defend, as 8 gases here being taken for our good friend Wayne. Wayne at 140 supply against the 140 supply of his opponent. Clem once again taking considerable risk here against Wayne, saying, hey, I'm putting not all of his eggs, but a lot of eggs in this basket, okay? This basket is heavy, and I'm not sure if Clem can carry the weight of this basket right now. A couple of Mutas will go down. I think that was 3-4 Mutas, maybe even more, maybe 4 or 5 Mutas there that fell, taking out a single tank. Usually not quite a worthwhile trade, although taking out tanks is great, of course. You don't want to lose all of your Mutas, because the Mutas are the key to victory. And what Mutalists can do is they can roam around. They don't care about terrain. They can pick off reinforcements. Oh, here comes a wild move out. Pre-1-1. See, targets down 1 tank, targets down a 2nd tank. This was a god-awful trade here for Wayne. This was such a bad trade that it is completely possible that Clem just pushes through right now. 15 seconds before his own 1-1 finishes up, he decides now is the time to go. And that was a terrible decision here, at least in retrospect. And I think Clem is just moving in here. There's a bunch of Banes. Clem can target those down. Will he be capable of doing that? He doesn't even need to. There's nothing tanking for them. Just a simple A move is going to do the trick. Mutas fighting Marines, and that is GG as Clem ties up the series in this best of 3. I'm really quite surprised overall how risky Clem is willing to play in these types of games. Especially while being down against a, in my mind, a player that is considered much worse. I guess that's what makes Clem so good, is that he dares taking these risks. Freaking proxy starport into Adrax. Like, that is... like, a lot of things could go wrong there. And I really believe if Wayne doesn't just attack into that position off creep 15 seconds before his 1-1. I'm not saying he's winning. All I'm saying is that he has a chance, okay? He has an okay chance. Hecate is sure a good map for tanks, but it's also a fine map for counterattacks. There's a couple of paths that lead towards that third base, and I think the supply was looking okay-ish for Wayne, so... Yeah, I'm surprised. Surprised to see it end as quickly as it did over there. We're going to have to wait and see how Wayne is going to respond to this... to the information he gathered in the last game. How does it actually work, by the way? I was just wondering. If you lose one ling out of the two, do you lose a supply? Is that what happens? I don't actually know for sure. Because of course lings are half a supply. Does it free up a supply if you lose one out of the two lings? Because then in theory you get a free ling, don't you? If you just rebuild another set of lings. How have I never thought of this before? Okay, we might see it here. Yeah. He went from 40 to 39 there. So the first ling out of the set is if that dies, you lose the supply. That means if you're maxed out, you could have one extra ling by killing one of your own lings. If you have an even number of lings and you're maxed out, then you kill one of your own, then you can get a one extra ling. I don't think that will ever have an impact, but that's pretty interesting. I can't believe I never thought about this before. Of course, it makes a lot of sense. Lings are in position. I feel like trying to commit into a Hellion run by against someone like Wayne, that is a risky move, you know? That is a risky move. As Clem is just going for a Reaper Hellion opener into a 2-1-1. Very safe. It's going to allow him a lot of control. He dares going so freaking deep. It's crazy to me. Actually, he went for 4 cars. Leaves 2 at home. Didn't quite see that. My apologies for that. 3 Marines in the main base. Spotting for potential Nidus worms. Double Evo, both of them hidden. Like, this is the thing with Wayne as well, is that he's a very scary player. And even when he's playing standard, he's hiding the fact that he's playing standard. And he's scaring the crap out of his opponent. He's going to have a serious lead here in the upgrades. Look at this. Look at this. This is a serious upgrade lead. It really is, because we're going to have a 3rd barracks first. We're going to get double medevacs. And then we'll get our E-base. Like, we're looking at 40, 50 seconds with an upgrade. I see one of the... the map textures is coming through the depot over here. Don't think that is entirely on purpose. Interesting stuff. Layer starts. Hellions are out, looking to deal some damage. Now come the double E-base. What's the E-base timing? 29? 25 seconds. God, that building builds fast, huh? It's going to be a minute. A minute of upgrade advantages here for Wayne. Now, of course, the first push that Clem is going to execute here will not have that issue because both players will be at 0-0. But any type of follow-ups and any type of attacks that Wayne wants to do with an upgrade lead are going to be viable, whether that's a 1-1 timing or a 2-2 timing. 3-3 timings aren't really a thing, but both of the other options are on the table still. They definitely are. Huh. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Okay, and lair now start off finishing up. This hatch as well coming in. This is a serious Ling attack, isn't it? Yeah, he wants to go for a counter attack while he's busy defending. Look at the worker count that Wayne is staying at. This is very low. This is a non-viable worker count almost. You know, it's too low. It goes hard. He just goes in. Doesn't have the 1-1 quite yet though. So no upgrade advantage. Clem microing 2 fronts at once. Yeah, this hit it a little bit too early for Wayne. It really did misses a transfuse there as more queens here are falling. This push is going to come to an end. Wayne did not deal the damage that he wanted to. And I think he'll need to try again in a little bit from now. Maybe as his 2-2 you know, gets closer and closer to completion. This is a scary location to fight in. But Clem didn't quite manage to squeeze into any gaps that are too tight. A couple more queens on the way. I'd love to see a 5th base at some point. Drones are being sprinkled in still. Creep spread not looking so hot. How are we doing this defensively? Okay, it was a couple of tanks. I think legitimately a couple. Yeah, 2 tanks total into a mine transition here. Seems to be the play for Clem. So you realize he's playing against Pureling Bane and nothing else. One of these queens in a bit of trouble, perhaps. Do we have an armory? Soon we will. I don't really think this push is necessarily going to be very strong, although I say that. Queen also doesn't have a huge defense. Doesn't want to fight this off creep. Hellbat's indeed morphing in. Space potentially in some trouble. Here comes a surround. Big hit there on a lot of Marines. Is the queen still moving forward? There's 7 queens available. And Wayne's keeping his money real nice and low. He's doing a good job, honestly. He really is. This is a fairly standard game. Usually Clem looks dominant in those. And I guess he's looking pretty dominant in this one as well. So nothing really changed. This just smells and looks and feels like a massive 2-2 timing to me. We do have that infestation pit coming in. We're gonna go in towards a hide. I do believe that Wayne is going to have a transition behind it. But I also believe he wants to go for a bit of an attack here. He wants to get out on the map and use that upgrade lead that he has. That was a bad fight for our Zerg player. It really was. His queen's now moving off creep. This is not quite what you want. Transfuse is not going to be available here. Here come a couple of big mine shots, perhaps. Okay, we'll take out a bunch of these. 131 to 147. Lots of cash in the bank. Larva also available, just not being utilized right now. 40 links in production all at once. 2-2. Can we get anything across the map here is the question. Or is Clem, by being on the map, just kind of stopping the opponent's attack? Here we go. Wayne is going to send it. He is sending it, absolutely. What is the defensive structure set up like? There is no fort base yet. I think this fort base, the plan for the fort base needs to be put in the fridge for a little bit. Put that in the freezer. Say adios. We'll get it out later, but for now, not quite yet. Not quite yet. Okay, that's one mine that's getting a hit. That's another mine that's getting a hit. This mine won't even manage to burrow. Here comes the attack. 2-2 versus 1-1 upgrades. This is very dedicated, very committed here of an attack. These mines, though, are being taken out. I'd love to see just a couple of Banes rolling in towards this bad boy. That is not quite what is happening right now. As there's loads of money in the bank here for Wayne, who's attacking into this position and staking out 24 ICV. Don't continue. I don't think so. Maybe you can. Wayne is doing it here. Yeah. It's a 2-2 attacks, man. It's a 2-2 attacks. There's a couple more mines over here, which he could try and detonate. Loads of cash in the bank for Wayne, who has taken a massive lead in the work account, 63 to 46. If he has the larva available, I don't really see a way for him to die right now. Not in the counter attack. There's 86 links. There's plenty of cash for more banelings as well. We have more gases on the way. I think he wants to transition into ultras as well. The reason why ultras are going to be so great is because, well, there's not really the money to start massive marauder production. Mines are being taken out. Clem in a world of trouble here as Wayne, the one European who can. Him and Cyril are the 2 guys. Oh my god, that's a huge mine shot there. 23 kills all at once. Overseer's a little bit late to the party. Another big mine shot. I think Wayne is kind of throwing away his lead. Isn't clearing these mines either. Another big shot. 18 kills here. That was like 18, 12, 23. These are no small numbers. I think Clem actually making a comeback here into this game. Hasn't started 3-3 yet, though. Is still very all-in on 58 workers. If Wayne can get to his Ultralisk Cavern with the +3 carapace, with a chitinous plating upgrade, this is still a scary situation here for Clem. Yes, the creep sucks, but does that really matter? I don't think it actually does. Mine! Oh my god, doesn't get a hit in. Does not get a hit in. This bad boy will, though. Not a huge hit. Not a huge hit. Clem split off a portion of his units here. This mine looks like it's above the ground. This map has some funky texture. Really. This is not a mine supposed to look like. You see his entire body. It's not the most well-hidden mine. Adrenal glands on the way. 3-3 for Wayne. Upgrades are going to be phenomenal. Supply, yeah, not as much. It's 5 base versus 4. 65 workers to 70. Wayne needs a cleanup right now, and he needs a good cleanup. He can't be happy with just some minor decent fight. Absolutely. This is good control once again, though, out of our Zerg player. Cleaning up these mines one by one. There's still 8 on the map, but a lot of those are at home at the 3rd base. As we now have a drop heading in towards the main. Carapace, chitinous plating, all getting closer and closer to finishing up. These units now looking to get some kills here from the high ground. We'd love to see a spore just starting to produce. It's a target fight. Target fire on a queen, then taking out an overseer there. Nice moves here, Clem. Always knowing exactly what to shoot at. Very cool stuff indeed. First ultras are out, however. I mean, there's no 3-3 yet for Clem. +3 attack is just now starting. Chitinous and +3 carapace are going to be a huge deal. Like these ultras, they just won't die. They simply won't die. Right now, they're still dying. That's an issue. Chitinous and +3 is an absolute game changer. These Marines are going to be dealing half the damage a shot or something. Needs an overseer in this position. It's not quite going to be in time. I don't think so. Okay, here come all the upgrades. Chitinous finished up. I think he just sent individual ultras. Maybe get an infestor in here as well, so these ultras can actually shoot some units. Some of them units. Okay, here they go. Here they go. Ultras. Can they do something? Being used in the mix. Marauder's actually dealing okay with them for now. I feel like Wayne is bleeding out a little bit. I too thought he could just kind of march across the map and say, hello mate, what's up? Now with the links for reinforcement, keeping those units in place is probably key, but he just doesn't get the wraparound. Not having infestors here is hurting him, and it feels like Wayne is just kind of bleeding dry here. He's lacking that momentum to truly push across the map. He went a bit too deep with that 2-2 push and never truly recovered from that supply deficit. He's still working with it. Once +3 attack finishes here, once we get a decent Marauder count, a higher mine count, like that could be potentially very problematic. Well, I mean, there's not a single ultra out on the map right now. That is very problematic. But yeah, GG gets called. Clem wins the game. This was so freaking close, though. This was a crazy game. Like here. Just look at this situation, right? We're 1,500 minerals in the bank. So we're lacking a couple of injects that aren't going right now. Like out of the 6 hatcheries, only 2 are being injected. 2 are being injected. That's very little out of the 6. So there's a lot of cash in the bank. And then here, if there's a full-on pullback, and there's an overseer to clean up these mines, which there is, or you just go back right now. I mean, that looks sick, no? That actually looks sick. And I think this attack is a mistake. Because here it all went well, and then now, like, at this point you already have created your lead. And now you just kind of got to use, like, you're getting your carapace upgrade, you're getting your melee upgrade, you want to get your adrenal and your ultra cavern. You don't have to attack anymore, like, you just had your power spike. Your power spike is now ended with 2-2 also finishing up for Clem. So this is a decision-based loss. And then this mine, look at this, 23 kills. This one gets like 7. Then there's one over here that gets 18. And you can't... This is fine if you had 95 workers, but this really was kind of an all-in momentum-based style. And here you lose momentum. And then I think you lose the game afterwards. Epic series, though. Real sick to see how good Wayne is against Clem in particular. Real nice. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new one. Ciao, ciao.